Hi, I'm Heather from the Sound Mind Collective, where we believe in activism through education. In today's video, we are going to talk about things not to say when you're talking with the Black people in your life and why. For more videos like this, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It can be challenging in this time to know the rules of engagement. We don't always know what to say when we're in conversation with the Black people in our lives, whether they're our friends, family members, coworkers, whoever they may be. But there are some things that you should just know are not acceptable and why. They come across as offensive and disrespectful. And if you can keep them from your mouth, I promise you, you'll get further in your conversation and learn more. Let's talk about some of those things today. Number one thing that I hear said often is, I have Black friends. Please don't say this. No one appreciates this in their conversation. If you truly have a relationship with people who don't look like you, with people of color, with people who maybe are indigenous, with people who are African American, there's no need to announce it. Your life will show it. You don't need to use it as a justification or a pass in your life. Leave it out. It's unnecessary and quite rude. Secondly, I wasn't raised that way, or I'm not going to raise my children that way. Well, that's kind of like an excuse that by saying that, you're letting the people around you know that you couldn't possibly have any sort of bias or prejudice in your life because your family just didn't raise you to be prejudiced or biased. But it's just not that easy. All of us who are living in America with white skin have been through a process through media, through our education, through our churches, through our businesses, through just living out life in general, where we have bias, whether we want to admit it or not. It's there. It's part of the ingraining and part of the culture of America to grow up with some of these things, some of these feelings, some of these thoughts about people of color, about Black people, about Indigenous people, and about immigrants. It's just there. So by saying you weren't raised that way or you're not going to raise your children that way, you're essentially absolving yourself from having to take a look inside of your heart or your thought processes or your mind to see if there's anything there that maybe needs to get pushed out. Don't say that. Number three, this is just a lie. I don't know why people continue to say it, but white people, we do. And that is this: I don't see color. Why would you say that, white people? Why? It. You see, Black people don't want you not to see their color. They want you to stop seeing their color and using it as a reason to fill in the blank, keep them from getting jobs, keep them out of neighborhoods that they want to move into, keep them down in the education system, make them more likely to be arrested or sent to jail. Don't say you don't see color. It's unnecessary, it's condescending, it's patronizing, it's offensive, it's disrespectful. Remove that from your life, from your voice, from your heart, from your vocabulary. And anyone you know who says it, call them out on that too, because it's just ridiculous. Okay. We all see that we're all different shades of white, peach, brown, black. Don't say it. Got it? Don't say it. Let's see. How about this one? This might be a microaggression. We'll talk about that another time, but something that you're saying that you think is a compliment, but really is offensive and disrespectful. I'll tell you why. Keep up with me here. And that is this, or any kind of sentence like this: you are the whitest person, Black person that I know. What the heck does that even mean? The whitest Black person you know? Why can't I just be maybe the only Black person you know? Why does it have to be in reference to white people? And I'll tell you why, white people. It's because in America, we have made whiteness the standard, it's the norm. We talk to each other and we say, I was talking to this woman at the bank. When we say that, alert, alert, everyone knows you're talking about a white person. If you're not talking about a white person, you're tagging them with their race. You'll say, I was talking to this Black woman at the bank. Okay, think about it. You do it All of us do or have done it at some point. So please, please, please don't say things like you're the whitest Black person I know or you're really smart for a Black person, because what you're doing is holding Black people to white standard and you're making white standard the norm and the right side of things. It's hurtful, okay? Think about it. Don't say it anymore. How about this one when we're talking about white privilege? Well, I don't have white privilege. I was poor. I was abused. My family was on welfare. I worked for everything I had. You're trying to take everything away from me? I don't have any privilege. Let's break that down. The word privilege here is not talking about money, it's talking about opportunity. And that is the key difference. When I was growing up, we didn't have much money, but my parents taught me that privilege meant I get to do something that maybe my brothers don't get to do, or maybe the people down the street don't get to do. I was being rewarded because I got the privilege of going to get ice cream or whatever it is. Okay. So privilege here is equated to opportunity. And even if you didn't have many opportunities, I promise you, whether you want to believe it or not, you have had more opportunity just because you're white than our brothers and sisters who are Black and are people of color have. I promise. So stop saying you don't have privilege because you were poor or abused or on welfare, any of those things. Doesn't help the conversation. And lastly, for today's video, I'm not prejudiced or I'm not racist or any version of those things. You shouldn't have to announce that. Your life will speak. If you find yourself saying, I'm not prejudiced, chances are there's bias in you. You just haven't discovered it yet. If your response when someone calls you out or questions you or does so in a respectful or loving manner that might be uncomfortable but isn't rude, and your response is, well, I'm not prejudiced, essentially you've shut down the conversation and made it so the other person has nothing left to say because you couldn't possibly be prejudiced or racist. That's simply not true. All of us, myself included, have bias in us. We just can't help it to some degree because of the culture that we live in America. So stop saying those things, okay? So I want you this week, this day, for the next few weeks to come, to really process these words that I've told you. These are just a few phrases out of lots that we could say, but these are some of the ones that come up most often, and realize that they're disrespectful and they're hurtful and they're not going to further the conversation at all, okay? So let me know down in the comments what you think about what I've said or some of the experiences you've had with the comments that I've put forward. And really try to think about where you might say them in your own life and stop saying them. I want to know what you think. Remember to like and subscribe. There's plenty more of this from where it's come from, and I can't wait to see you soon.